and obviously I would show that to you now. After that was done, I would like to just kind of go over some of what she really pushes on that, and that is valuing effort. Okay, you have to value effort as coaches. It's whether it's a great effort or a poor effort, whatever it may be, as long as there's effort there, because efforts can overcome mistakes. The other thing is be a noticer of effort, and if we're a noticer of effort, that means you're recognizing it, and you've got to recognize it in big ways. We always recognize things that are done poorly in big ways. We need to recognize things that are done what you want them to do, okay, the effort part of it. So, and then the third thing that she really pushes in this video that you saw that I want to go over is basically effort equals success. And that might be the key to the whole thing, that if you're giving great effort, sooner or later you're going to have success. Now, we're going towards scoreboard wins and mastery. Scoreboard wins. Okay? Basically, you're looking at people who only worry about wins. You're looking at people who only look at themselves by comparing what they're doing to what other people are doing. And they're also not teaching all the little things that you need to know. Mastery is just the opposite. I like to think of mastery as a process. You're teaching throughout the season. You're going through steps to get better so that you're peaking at the end of the season. There isn't yelling for mistakes. There isn't mistakes that are horrible like in scoreboard. Let me give you a scenario of a situation that really happened. There are really two different scenarios. I'm going to put them into one because it could happen in either one. But basically, a kid's in a state championship basketball game. There's a foul with about 0.3 seconds left. He goes up to shoot 2 free throws. They're down by 1 point. He makes the first one. So now they're going to overtime. Everybody thinks he's going to make that second one, and he misses the second. We go into overtime. 4 kids get a chance to hit a game-winning shot. They miss them all. We lose the game by 1, or that team loses the game by 1. What is a scoreboard coach going to say to his team in that situation? What do you think, Kelly?
A scoreboard coach?
Yes. Yeah. And maybe, I'm sorry.
They would just say you blew it.
Yep, you blew it. Maybe even call people out. Like if you didn't miss that shot, or if you didn't miss that game, or those free throws, we would have won that game. They would have just called them out. What about a mastery one? What would a mastery, Ruben, what would that coach say?
Well, I think he might say, hey, we're going to continue focusing on the things we can control. And sometimes the ball goes through the hoop and sometimes it doesn't. But what we can control is our process, our routine, our commitment to executing the game plan, giving our full focus on free throw shooting drills in practice. We're going to keep doing those things. And that's going to give us the best chance to succeed in the long run.
Oh, absolutely. That was perfect, perfect. And in this situation, and I expect it to be perfect from you, Ruben, by the way, but in that situation, it really happened. And there were really 2 scenarios. One, a mastery coach who isn't coaching anymore basically went in, and a kid really missed a game-tying three-pointer in a semifinal game. I kind of mixed the two just so it happened, but he went in and he blamed that kid. He called that kid out. That kid still doesn't talk to that coach, even though he was a talented kid, played for him for 4 years and everything else. And he blamed that kid. And that guy lost his job because he was a mastery coach within the next year anyway. The second situation also happened. Unfortunately, it happened to me, and where the kid missed a free throw, and we had 4.
Frozen?
I had it all down. I was going to say it. I was going to really push it. I come walking in, and maybe even at a higher level of the mastery, I had kids standing up. It's not your fault that you missed a free throw. I missed a free throw 30 seconds earlier. Another kid stands up and says, I lost it because I didn't box out my man in overtime, and they got a layup. And all of a sudden, everybody stood up and told what they did wrong in that game to lose it. And I'm sitting there going, wow, I didn't have to say anything. obviously it must be doing the right things of teaching these kids what to do, and that is mastery. That's them realizing that sometimes the ball goes in, sometimes the ball doesn't go in, but we were in a great situation in a state championship and had a great year. So those are the two examples that I like to push and look at, and I was so proud of my kids to do that. They took all the pressure off me, and I just had to finalize what they already started. The other thing they talk about, and this is more in the book, the double goal coaching book that you might want to look at and read, and hopefully you have, is as coaches, we have to sell this ELM tree early. And it says early in the season, but nowadays I believe with the way systems are and programs are, you've got to sell it the day after your final game when you start weightlifting again, or maybe it's the month after that final game. You've got to start selling that ELM tree in your preseason, in your off season, and really sell it when you're beginning of your season, because there's so many year-round sports anymore in America and kids playing just one sport that as us coaches, we have to sell that. And we also have to sell it, not also in the gym and in the locker room. We have to sell it in the way we teach if you're a teacher, the way you act out in the community and around your kids. So I think the start of this whole ELM tree mastery begins with the coach himself pushing it on the kids and doing it themselves. Now let's go over each one individually a little bit here. Okay? Well, you know, we talked about effort. Effort. What is effort? Effort can be happen on good plays and bad plays, like we talked before. Okay? We have to reward this effort somehow. How can we reward it in a practice? What's a couple ways, Kelly, that we could award kids for effort in their practice? Whether it's a good play or bad play, it doesn't really matter.
I think just hustling, like pick something that you can only measure their amount of effort. Like, for example, in lacrosse, we practice ground ball pickups, and I want to see them not stop when they get to the ball. I want to see them run all the way through it. And if they miss or if they make it, it doesn't matter. But if I see a girl stop and go to pick up the ball, that's not what we want. So as long as she runs through it, even if the ball pops out or drops, we still cheer her on and say, "That's it, good job, keep pushing, keep pushing."
And that's the key, the coach saying something after, because it seems like we always say something when something goes wrong, but do we always say something when something goes right? I get caught in the classroom all the time. I might tell my kids, "You're talking too much, kids aren't learning," everything else, but I've turned around and started saying, "But I did want to stop and thank all my other kids for doing what you're supposed to be doing." Okay? You got to make sure that they continue to do the good things, and we got to recognize that too. Other things that you could do possibly is give an award at the end of practice. We've started giving out Otter Pops, 4-cent Otter Pops, okay, for great awards. We give 3 of them. Whoever worked the hardest, sometimes it's 2, but usually it's 3. And believe it or not, I mean, we've done this in camp for years, and because it was so successful in basketball camp in the summer, and probably because it's 110 degrees out here in the summer in Phoenix, they like the Otter Pops more, but we would give them choices of candy, soda, Gatorade, and an Otter Pop. And we spend all this money on the soda and the Gatorade, and they take that Otter Pop every day. So, you know, I always have my booster list of what I want, and it's Otter Pops, and they think I'm crazy. But we hand out for effort, great effort, the best effort, and it could be anything, for Otter Pops. You could have weekly awards for effort in practice. Here at Pinnacle, we talk about what we do a lot here, but basically we made a locker, like a pro locker. And every week, the player of the week gets a locker for the best effort. Okay, so any ideas, Ruben? If you have any ideas what you could do weekly for someone?
Well, my experience has been what the players appreciate the most is playing time. So, you know, it's not always so easy to do, but I think that might be the most meaningful reward, especially at the higher levels, if you equate playing time as a consequence, a positive consequence for busting your butt in practice.
Oh, absolutely agree, and you have to fulfill that too. And like you said, it's not easy to do all the time. Even if you give them a minute or 2 minutes in a game. I had a situation where I had a kid beg me one time, "Give me 1 minute, I'll make sure I take 1 charge and get 1 rebound. Just give me 1 minute." So by the end of the year, I was giving him 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I got you still?
Yeah, now you're back.
Okay. Well, sorry. I don't know what's going on. I think we're having problems at our school with our internet today. anyway, this kid ended up getting 2-3 minutes a game each quarter and doing the things that I wanted, and it was just an effort thing. And they do really respect that. But we try to add some things because there are kids there that maybe don't play, and they do give all the effort. Maybe they're a practice player because we like to take those kids just to be part of a team. We also do seasonally awards. Season awards, we don't do MVPs. We don't do offensive players. We don't do things like that. We do all effort type things, a hustle award, a defensive award, a rebounding award. So our whole practice and our whole system, and I got this from another coach, they work towards these great effort awards that we can possibly give them, whether it's daily, weekly, or effort, or at the end of the season. So it works out really well. And then again, most importantly, which we always forget, is playing time. But that seems like the obvious one that everybody gives. I like to give us something extra for kids maybe, aren't getting a ton of playing time, to give something extra to them. In golf, even in golf, we make a big thing and do a lot of things for up and downs. We think an up and down is a great effort where you don't hit the green, you have to chip up and then make it a one putt. So any up or downs, we keep track of those and chart those type of things. You can also chart effort things in practice, and that's what we do, is to give those awards when we chart all those things in practice. In games, we have goals that we chart that are all effort goals, and our kids cheer for them at the end of the game if we made those goals. We don't really bring them up. They know if we didn't do those goals that probably the outcome didn't come out as well. But we talk about those goals and maybe 10 rebounds or less, or offensive rebounds, from the other team, or so many turnovers. They're all type of effort situations. Learning, mastery, which also goes into effort. Learning. We have gone kind of to a whole different language for mastery. We don't like to say negative things. We like to say positive things. Obviously, effort leads to mastery. Mastery overcomes mistakes. And we'll get into that quite a bit later with the mistakes and how you rebound from them. But with us, with our mastery, we like to ask a lot of questions. We like to sit there and have them realize what we're trying to teach. And what that is let's say a shot in basketball. Really, there's a bad shot, a good shot, and a great shot. Well, we threw the bad out. We talk about good shots and great shots, and we ask our kids all the time, what kind of shot is that? And our kids will say, oh, that was a good shot, coach, we can do better. Or that was a great shot, coach. And it come to a point by the end of the year where these kids are mastering it, and everybody's yelling, that's a great shot, or no, coach, I should have done this to get a better shot. And it might have been a great shot, but they're trying to even get better shots than great shots. So we've worked on this to make sure that kids are mastering the effort situations, and they're learning and coaching each other on those situations. So I think that's a great way for the mastery part of it. And the other thing with mastery is when you blew a whistle in high school, when you played, what usually happened after it? Kelly, if that coach blew the whistle, what usually happened? Maybe with a scoreboard coach. Let's go there. With a scoreboard coach, when you blew a whistle, what usually happened?
I probably came out of the game.
Yeah, they came out of the game, got yelled at, everybody ran, right? With a mastery coach where you're learning, how many times did anybody blow the whistle? 3-4 times, stop the practice, and everybody just clapped for that kid for doing the great thing or having a great effort. Or maybe you were teaching a specific effort or maybe a specific skill, and they finally did that skill, and you made a big deal out of that. We don't want our kids to sit there and worry that a whistle is going to cause us some negative consequence or something negatively said. We want to know that it could be a mastery thing. You could have mastered something, and we're celebrating a situation like that. So that's where we go with effort.
10.
That's 10? Oh, all right.
More, but that's all right. I just wanted to find a good pause to stop you.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice job. Well done.
All right.
Well done. Well done. Did it feel like
but my ritual is even better. I have great ritual situations too, but that's.
I'm going to hear them in 2 weeks when you do your final.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a taste. This is just to get you, practicing and getting this format out of the way. Charlie, I saw a lot of positives, a lot of great things. It was a short amount of time, but you got a lot in there. And right off the bat, I love having teachers that become PCA trainers, because there's so many things that I don't have to teach you that you just know. And your voice, your eye contact, your inflection, pausing, louder in one spot, all those kind of things. You can tell that teacher mode. One of the things that is a little bit tricky for teachers to switch over to being a PCA workshop facilitator is that you want to tell them everything, and it's our tendency as teachers to want to tell everything and then throw in a couple questions rather than really try to get it out of the audience. So that would be one thing I would challenge you more of.
Okay.
You have so many great examples, and you have lots of great tools and lots of things you've done in different sports. Sometimes it's hard for us to hold back and
Sure.
get more examples from the audience, but I'm going to challenge you to do that a little bit more. As I said, right off the bat, I could tell, you knew what you were talking about. You would own a room, which is great, which is exactly what we're looking for, somebody that can own a room. I love the way you were talking about a lot of really strong sentences and peaking at the end of the season and all those things that you explained in the very beginning were great. What I do is I keep track of, how much time is there between questions? How long does it take you to get us involved? And it was only a 10-minute demo, but the first 4 minutes were you just talking.
Get them involved.
And this comes at the middle of the workshop, so I'm not necessarily just needing this for the Elm Tree of Mastery principle, but just trying to get us somehow engaged a little bit more in the beginning, opportunities for asking of questions or just, raise your hand or sit down or what do you think about this or thumbs up or not or just something to get us engaged a little bit quicker would be a suggestion. Sometimes you do talk fast, and I talk fast as well, so I'm definitely the pot calling the kettle black. But one of the things when you brought up the example, I loved your example of what would a scoreboard coach say if you missed that shot? What would a mastery coach say? I thought that was really great because you're using the same situation and thinking, gosh, what would I say if I was scoreboard focused? And I can imagine myself being in the room going, yeah, I'd probably be bummed he missed the shot. Am I a scoreboard focused coach? The one thing, and if you watch the video back, you actually said it wrong twice. I don't know, Ruben, if you picked that up. You said, and the mastery coach was fired.
Oh.
The coach that was you said it once, and I was like, okay, I blew it off. I understood it, but then you said it again. You're like, and the coach that was giving the mastery comments, he was the one that lost his job. And I was like, I don't think that's quite what you meant.
Yeah, I think I meant negative, but yeah, it's going too fast.
I know what you meant, but I think when you just get talking fast, you're not quite thinking about it. So just take a break. And I think everybody in the audience would have gotten that. But if I was in your audience, I probably would have stopped you and been like, wait a minute, did you say the mastery coach got fired? Like, I probably would have called you out on that one.
Sure.
I like the idea of selling the Elm Tree early in the season, pre-season. I thought that was really, you could tell you were coaching us as coaches, and that's what you want to do. So that was, if I was in your audience, if I was one of your participants, I'd write that down, because that is a really good, important thing to talk about. Talking about the way that you teach early. This isn't something that you just put in at crunch time, at playoff time. It's something that you have to put as part of your culture. I took that out of what you said. I thought that was really great. I have no clue what an otter pop is. And it was funny because when you wrote that down in your discussion questions for the week, I was thinking, what is an otter pop? I don't think we have otter pops in Pennsylvania. Is that like a popsicle?
Yeah, it's just a long, thin popsicle in a plastic thing. Yeah.
Got it. I was just cracking up because you wrote that down and you wrote like Gatorades and sodas and then an otter pop, 4-cent otter pop. I'm like, what is an otter pop? I don't even know.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do, and you're going to be doing workshops most likely out in Phoenix, but one of the things I always encourage people to do is make sure everybody knows what you're talking about. And not that that's a silly example, but sometimes people name drop or say things or certain things that only you would know, just to make sure everybody knows it. I liked your examples, though. You took examples from us. What are some awards you've done? You asked me for how do you focus on effort, and I think that's really important because it made me think, like, what do I do to reinforce effort rather than outcome? Because most of us are naturally just outcome based. We do notice, we do cheer, we do attribute success, but usually we do all that to the outcome. We cheer when somebody gets a goal, and we don't cheer when they don't. We say, all right, get out, go ahead, back in line, try it again. And I've watched coaches do it all over the place. They say, oh yeah, I'm definitely hurt. But if you watch them in practice, the kid that scores the goal, they're like, ah, nice job, Billy, good job. Okay, Jimmy, you missed, get to the end of the line, try again. You're just totally reinforcing the outcome. Yeah, and I think too, you brought up writing down effort. That's positive charting, and that's one of our tools too. I would just encourage you to use the names of the tools that we use. It's great to be able to say, if you take a look at page, whatever it is, we're talking about positive. You didn't get there yet because there was a couple slides forward, but you did talk about writing down effort things. I forget how you said it, but you said something about, writing down the effort, the goals that you do. And I would just say, we call that positive charting at PCA. That's one of the nice things about Positive Coaching Alliance workshops. to things that coaches might have been doing all along, what to call it or how to use it. So that would be my suggestions.
Okay, great.
Really?
PowerPoint would have helped in those situations. That's why I kind of was trying to get it up on there.
Yeah. No, I think, as I said, I thought that was really successful. You did a great job. You've got a lot of good tools to work with, which is exciting. Ruben, did you have some feedback for Charlie?
I have just a little bit, but I'm curious, Charlie, what you thought were the strengths of what you did.
Well, I'm pretty comfortable being out in front of people, obviously. I do think through years of coaching, the examples, things like that, I would try to get more people involved, probably quicker. I think I really thought we were going to do the other one first, the principal one, and I had a great situation to get us involved right away. But I probably should have there with it too. I tried to hit every little situation and give a little bit more of my own extras from the book, just examples. And I wanted to say positive charting. I think I said charting, but I couldn't remember the positive because it wasn't out in front of me. And that's where PowerPoints help just a tad to be able to, just keep you right on track of exactly what they're saying. So I think I did those type of things quick. I know I talk too quick. I've always talked pretty quick, pretty fast, but I usually tell the group right off the bat, if I get going too quick, just slow me down and ask me a question or double check what is an otter pop or whatever it may be. So that's one of my first things I say is slow me down. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, so sometimes I get going too fast.
Okay, well, yeah, so very consistent with Kelly's feedback and mine too. You know that in this workshop, there's a point where we say the one thing most coaches can do to be more effective is to increase their plus-minus ratio,
Sure.
Get closer to the 5-to-1.
Right.
I think the one thing most trainer candidates can do to be more effective, is increase their, I'm going to say it this way, decrease their ratio of trainer speaking within the workshop.
Right. Get them going.
Increase the other side of the ratio, which is anything else that's happening in the workshop, whether it's participants talking, whether it's a video playing, whether it's people engaged in a competitive demonstration exercise.
Sure.
Are you following me?
Oh, absolutely.
So what Kelly pointed out is you have all the pieces in place to be a fantastic, effective PCA trainer. And so that ratio of how much am I talking as a trainer as opposed to anything else that could be happening in a workshop. I think that's the one little thing for you to be thinking about and moving in that direction. I kept writing down words to describe what I was experiencing with you, and they all start with C for some reason. You have a conversational tone. The way you facilitate and when the times when you are presenting, it sounds very conversational. The tone, the execution is what we're talking about. The ratio, so right. That not only now is there a conversational tone, but there's actually more back and forth. And okay, so that's one C word. You're confident. You're clearly confident and comfortable. They go hand in hand, and you're convincing. You're convincing, Charlie. The way you describe things and your personal experience. The fact that these two scenarios. By the way, these scenarios are actually real situations. And one of them, I was the coach. It just makes it all the more effective and convincing. So, I thought it was a fantastic practice session, Charlie. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Another C word. Congratulations.
Yeah, right.
I never knew you had so many C words there, Ruben. That's pretty clever.
I have to be convincing because I've had some bad teams that I've had to convince to be better with effort. So.
Kidding. It's a sales pitch.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, next time, Charlie, you'll have 20 minutes. So you'll have more time to go into a little bit, deeper. We usually say each principal should average about 15 to 20 minutes. So that should be enough time to get through the whole principle. You can choose whatever portion you want to do, though. You can do the intro. You can do emotional tank, honoring the game. You're welcome to do this again if you'd like to. Most people choose a different principle just to get practice with a different one.
Sure.
And you'll have hopefully a couple more people as your audience. So this week is honoring the game. Next week, I give you an opportunity to practice your 20 minutes. If you want to roll it through again, And then the final is going to be the week after that, and that's when we would invite some of the people from the PCA Phoenix office to join us. And hopefully we can get Devin and Hillary and a couple people from the Phoenix office maybe to put an audience together so you could do it live in front of them as a demonstration too. But that's my beautiful world plan. That's what I like to happen. It doesn't always happen because of logistics, but that's my goal, is to get everybody in front of a little mini live audience before we send you out.
Okay, great.
So.
Great. Hey, I got a question.
Sure.
I keep getting emails about all these classes that I need to.
Okay, I think I can handle that one, Charlie. I'm going to wait because you're frozen. I want to make sure that.
All right, I'm
Are
back.
you hearing me okay?
Yeah.
So I think what you're referring to, Charlie, is the code that I sent you that gave you access to Coaching for Winning an online lessons course.
Yeah. Did you want us taking them now or after?
No. What happens is that when you register, and if you open up a course, then the system sends you reminders saying, "Hey, we know you've paid for this course. We know you've started it. We just want to remind you to come back to it and finish it."
Okay.
So that's the one disadvantage of that link that I send out to you. It doesn't distinguish you as a trainer candidate from someone else who's just signed up, paid to do the online course. So I think that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I think you just ignore those reminders unless you want to pay attention to them and actually finish up some of those courses. But
right.
they're not required. They'll help you further down the road when we add certifications.
Right.
Kelly's working with you on your Double Goal Coach 1 certification, Coaching for Winning in Life Lessons. Later down the road when we add certifications, those online courses can help you with the content and the organization. But that's what that's about, I'm pretty sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for taking the time to do this today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for making a new time. I apologize for last week. So.
No problem.
Congratulations again, Charlie, and thank you, Kelly, for your